That's not going to be deep enough. Nope. All right, looks like we're going into extra innings again, so we got that going for us.
Yeah, I know.
All right, well, I'm going to keep that on in the background so we can it'd be nice to get a walk-off win while we're talking about all the losses that we have to discuss from the last week. But, well, we're back, so we'll keep an eye on the current game as it goes, and we'll start with the second game from the Pirates series last week. And then we're going to talk about the third game of that series. Then we got the whole Reds series. Then we have yesterday's Rays game and today's Rays game, which is now going into the 10th inning. So let's start with game 2 from the Pirates series last week. I will let you go first. Yes, that was definitely a clutch home run by Tellez.
All right. Well, welcome back, everybody. Stick with us. Where me is going through difficulties with my So second game was the first game back for Freddy Peralta. He had 3 1/3, 4 hits, 2 earned, 2 walks, 3 Ks. That's a decent outing. I mean, you could tell he started to get a little gassed, and people were starting to get some hard hits on him. His last batter actually hit a triple on him, and then Counsell pulled him. But he was still getting her up there to 96. I think he was just trying to get through 4, maybe 5, see what he can get out of them. But Gott came in. McGee gave up 2 home runs. That sucked. Bush hasn't been very good since he came over. Suter gave up a run in his third of an inning. Rogers had 1 walk, 1 K. He pitched good, and obviously we know Williams. I believe this was the walk-off game, if I remember correctly. But Wong in an RBI. He's been on fire for the last couple of weeks now. He was my power pair player last week. Adames has 4 RBIs in this game. Tellez had 2 RBIs. What was that?
Matt Bush, I mentioned Matt Bush. He pitched actually really, really well last night. Then Matt's got a comment here that I couldn't agree with more. It says needs to hold the Rays scoreless and then hit a home run in the bottom of the 10th to keep that streak of winning 5-3 against the Rays alive. That is perfectly timed, and hopefully it works out that way. That would be the ideal. Just letting Jake kind of figure out some technical difficulties.
You can go ahead, buddy. Your turn.
All right. So hopefully we'll see. Devin Williams is about to start the 10th inning. All right. So Jake covered pretty much everything from that second game. What's up, James? Yelich did on the first pitch of the game, actually. Oh, Devin Williams got a third. Nice play. That was heads-up play. So Devin Williams got a ground ball to Rowdy Tellez at first base. Rowdy threw it to third base to Urias, and they got the lead runner tagged out. So I'll take the runner out of scoring position. That was a heads-up play by Rowdy. Christian Yelich extended his hit streak on the first pitch of that game. Willie Adames used the opposite field on his 2-run double. Like Jake said, Freddy Peralta looked pretty good. It's a good thing that Harrison Bader is now out of the NL Central because O'Neal Cruz is in the NL Central, and he is taking the place of a Brewer killer. So we got that going for the Pirates. They have some nice young players, and so do the Reds, but we'll get to that. Looking at some players that could succeed or have the opportunity to succeed more in the second half of the season, Willie Adames, Andrew McCutchen, Tyrone Taylor, and the 2 catchers, and then Omar got put on the injured list. So looking at Victor Caratini is essentially the one. But all 3 of those guys, and then Omar and Victor Caratini combined for 2 hits each. The Brewers scored 7 runs in that game. It just came down to giving up more runs. The Brewers also used 7 pitchers in that second game of that series. So that game just kind of got away from the Brewers. 9 left on base, 6 of them in scoring position. So that's obviously opportunity left on the bases for what could have been a better game. Going into the third game of that series, the Pirates scored their first run on a pass ball, their last run on a wild pitch. That's just one of those things where the Brewers got to be better defensively as far as catching goes. Got him! What a throw. Wow. Devin Williams just got a swing and miss on his changeup. And then Caratini threw down to second, and they got the runner from first base trying to steal second. Wow. What a throw. Wow. Shut that down real quick. As I'm talking about the catchers needing to be better defensively, Victor Caratini throws a dude out trying to steal second base. So Brandon Woodruff had a very good start, 6 1/3 innings. He did give up 8 hits and 3 walks. I'd like to see both of those numbers lower, obviously. Only gave up 2 earned runs, only had 3 strikeouts. That's a pretty low number for him. He's usually a pretty big strikeout guy. Brian Reynolds is an all-star. He hurt the Brewers 2 games in a row. Ke'Bryan Hayes made a great defensive play in the top of the 10th inning to keep the Brewers off the board. Tyrone Taylor smoked the ball right down the line, and Ke'Bryan Hayes was just right there. All he had to do was step on the bag and throw it out. Matt, as far as I'm going to put this comment on here because his emotion behind the plate, the 2 strikeouts that Hobie Milner got, him and his big old nuts that Hobie Milner has to come in today in the top of the 8th inning with the bases loaded and 1 out and get 2 looking strikeouts. That's huge stuff from Hobie Milner. Hobie Milner's a baller, man. But the Pirates took advantage. It felt like of a distracted team for that 3-game series. And that's ultimately what it came down to. It felt like the Brewers were kind of just a distracted team. Corbin Burns said that they don't want to use the Hader trade as an excuse because ultimately, the way you look at it, the Brewers' Achilles heel and their 5 losses since the break has been relief pitching, and Josh Hader hasn't pitched that well for the Padres yet. So there's not a guarantee that with not making that trade, the Brewers don't still have that losing streak. Now, obviously, going forward, Hader is a better player today than Ruiz and Gasser are today, so we need to wait on that trade to find out who wins it. Devin Williams just got a strikeout to end the top of the 10th, so we're going to the bottom of the 10th. But, Corbin Burns, he said it. You don't want to use the Josh Hader trade as an excuse for the losing streak. And, that's why we posted on, I don't know if everybody that's watching saw the post or not, that we posted that the way that you respond to losing says a lot about your character. So if your response is after a loss to just say this team's not going anywhere, or this whatever sucked, or this guy sucks, or fire Clownsel, or fire Stearns, whatever, if that's your reaction to a loss versus we have another game tomorrow, we need to focus on winning that one. His first appearance as a Padre, he held a tie game. But then he gave up, I think he had a 3-run lead Monday night and blew that save. So he's still at 29 saves, and Taylor Rogers is still at 28, and he hasn't pitched in 3 days. So, how you respond to losses, it says a lot about your character. So if your response to a loss is thinking like, hey, we have another game tomorrow, we need to win that one. That's the more, it's the more mature approach. I understand frustration. Like, I get it. I get frustrated too when the Brewers lose, especially when they lose to the Pirates and the Reds, teams that they should beat. It's also baseball, which is the longest season by far. Machado. That dude, there's another underachiever. If there is one this year, is Manny Machado. But Jake, did you have anything you wanted to throw out from the third game of that Pirates series?
No, I think you covered everything, buddy. How's my mic sounding? A little better? No.
Better for now. We'll see if the if there's a time difference on the relay. So let's go to the first game of the Reds series.
Okay. This was a fun one because they won this one, first of all. So that's nice.
Always good.
Lauer pitched phenomenal. 7 innings, 6 hits, 1 earned run, 3 walks is 4 Ks is pretty good. Trevor Gott pitched pretty good in this game. No earned runs. Williams, 2/3 of an inning, looked really good. Taylor crushed a 3-run homer in this game that pretty much ended this game. Tellez also hit a home run. But the thing that I was looking at this week was all the, with the losses, you try to break down and you try to look at it a different way instead of just being pessimistic. That's something that we're trying to get away from. The runners left on base is something that was really big this week. So tried to get rid of the runners left on base, but which they did leave 10 on this day. They still won.
Yeah, left. I got 9 left on base. I don't know if that includes. I think there was 1 double play in that game, so I don't know if that counts. But the Brewers in the first game of that series were 1 for 10 with runners in scoring position. All 5 runs that they scored were all on the home run ball. Rowdy gave the Brewers an early 2-0 lead, and then Tyrone Taylor kind of put like the whole last month of his frustration into 1 ball. Sal, the Brewers are going into the bottom of the 10th, so we're hoping they won or will win, but we will keep you posted on that. Intentionally walked Yelich. Yeah, that never works. That never works. So that might be the nail in the coffin, Matt. So like Jake said, Eric Lauer had a great outing. Trevor Gott had an inning in the 3rd scoreless. Devin Williams got a 2-strikeout save. Yelich made a really nice sliding catch near Willie Adames. The 2 of them were smiling at each other and having some fun. Rowdy Tellez got a stolen base in this game.
Yeah,
and he was excited. He was at second base. Like that stolen base, and then the catch that Yelich made sliding in next to Willie Adames. Like it really showed that the team is still capable of having fun. So I've seen, after like Devin Williams, you could tell was pretty dejected after the Hader trade because that's one of his friends. He's bouncing back. He pitched obviously really well today. And it seemed like a lot of people on social media specifically, send them, move your ass, Tyrone. And that's game. Now the Brewers won. Sweet. Matt, they won't ever learn. They will not learn. Matt said right here, intentionally walked Yelich. When will they ever learn? They won't. Willie Adames just hit a walk-off single. The Brewers only won 4-3 today. Dang it. They couldn't keep the 5-3 streak alive. Once they walked Yelich, they ruined the 5-3 streak. The Brewers have played the Rays 4 times this year. Up until today, they had won every single game 5-3. So when the Brewers went down 3-2, I'm like, oh, they got them right where they want them, and they ended up winning 4-3. But anyways, back to this Reds series. Let's go to the second game of that series.
Oh God, I hated this game. This game was nationally televised. If you didn't know, it was on Fox. Ashby, 4 1/3, 3 hits, 4 earned runs, 5 walks.
Yep,
walks never help. And when you get to a number of 5, God, you're asking for trouble. Basically, you're basically asking them to score runs because those free passes, they always come back to get you, right? I will say, even though Milner gave up a run, I still thought he looked okay. McGee, not a fan. Not gonna lie, not a fan.
Well, he was gone after this game, so
I know. Not a fan. I don't think he was very good. And Suter gave us 2 innings, but all the pitchers gave up at least 1 run. McCutcheon had 2 RBIs, a home run, obviously. Adames is a great run producer for a shortstop. I'll say that.
Dude,
the greatest average.
I got something for you on that.
He's a great run producer. Hira with it just comes right up, just whacks a homer. That's all he does.
Dude, it's so good to see him hit a home run against a left-handed pitcher.
Yeah, that too. Oh my God, love that guy. Now go Rockies. Yeah, I agree. Hey, we get the Cardinals this weekend.
Matt, I don't know if you follow umpire scorecards. So the Rockies last night scored 12 runs in the first 3 innings of the Cardinals-Rockies game last night. They scored 9 in the 3rd inning of that game. They ended up winning like 12-3, I think the final score was. The umpire scorecard was plus 1 point something runs for St. Louis. It's like they tried to rig it for St. Louis and they still got pounded. Yeah, Matt, he was he was the Giants closer. I don't remember if it might have been last year. It was either last year or the year before. When we first picked him up, I mentioned that it felt kind of like the Hunter Strickland pickup last year. That's what Jake McGee felt like for the Brewers. That felt like that kind of similar. You pick up a guy who's been struggling on another team, you bring him in, maybe the change of scenery works out. And it worked out really well for Hunter Strickland. He ended up being a really reliable guy. It just didn't work out with Jake McGee. Yeah, the umpires can't hide that one. It was bad. If you look at the one last night, actually, Hader got some pretty favorable calls in that scorecard too. But like Jake said, Aaron Ashby is a good example of why wins shouldn't be a tracked stat for pitchers. Like his last outing, he had 7 innings pitched and gave up 2 runs and took a loss. Like he had like the best start of his career and got a loss because the Brewers didn't score runs. So it's whatever. But once that goes away, which it should go away eventually for pitchers and quarterbacks, then I'll be happy. And yeah, Strickland did help the Reds beat us, but it was good to see, like I said, good to see Keston Hira hit a home run off of a left-handed pitcher. Willy Adames, the first inning. You get the first inning and you already get an Angel Hernandez special, a ball like 3 inches off the inside of the plate gets called for a strike. I don't know how that dude's still employed. Yeah. I honestly don't.
I don't even want to talk about umpires, dude. They're so inconsistent on the inside. It's ridiculous.
Oh my God. And then the stolen base that Yelich had too. He literally kept his feet on the base, on both sides of the base. Call him out on the field, which I don't think should have been the case. And then to go and review it and to still call him out. Oh, man, that sucks. All right. So I'm fine with the call later in the game to send Caratini. Losing your mind. Yeah, that's definitely that's what an Angel Hernandez called game feels like. Victor Caratini was sent on a single. I think it was a Yelich single. Caratini came around. He was out by probably 3 or 4 steps at the plate. I'm fine with that send. When we've talked about improving the offense multiple times this year, we'll probably talk about it more. One of the things that I mentioned was trying to be more aggressive on the bases because it's hard enough for the Brewers to get guys on base, much less trying to get more guys on base all at the same time. So I was fine with sending Caratini there. That's a trying to win a game move. I'm fine with that. Christian Yelich had 3 hits. Andrew McCutchen had a hit and 2 walks. And Hunter Renfroe also drew 2 walks. So had guys on base, just didn't get them in. It is what it is. What's up, Tyler? The Cubs. I honestly have not paid any attention to the Cubs, like at all, because I've been focused on the Brewers and obviously the Cardinals, to know how they've been doing lately. So just straight up being honest. We can go to the 3rd game of that Brewers-Reds series.
Why don't you start us off? I want to hear what you got. Now I'll clean up you.
All right. Well, if Christopher is watching, he'll enjoy this one. Cubs have been playing well for a Hey. So Corbin Burns pitched 6 innings, 9 strikeouts, 1 earned run, 2 hits, 2 walks. I'll take that all day. Ashcraft is actually a pretty good young starter for the Reds. He looks like he's going to be pretty good. So the stat that I have is Willy Adames is now 7 home runs short of Robin Yount's shortstop home run record for the Brewers. Willie Adames needs 7 more home runs to tie Robin Yount's Brewers shortstop home run record. 7.
Interesting.
I don't know how many J.J. Hardy ever had, but 27 is the number for Robin Yount. So Willie's creeping up on it. Keston Hiura hit another home run. Hopefully that's good for his confidence. If Keston Hiura could come up and start providing a bunch of offense, that would be a big boost. So, we talked a lot about it last week about the Brewers not trading for a bat. Keston Hiura picking it up could be a big part of that. If we could get 2019 Keston Hiura back, that would be awesome. The one that hit 18 home runs in half of a season. The other thing with this game, so we get to you mentioned Matt Bush before too. Hader didn't get the chance to come the all-time saves leader. It would have happened the second half of this season. So Matt Bush got a scoreless inning. We get to the bottom of the 10th inning. Top of the 10th inning. And I'm so confused on innings. The bottom of the 9th inning, that's the one. And Luis Urias gets on base, and they put in Jonathan Davis to pinch run for him, not for them. Luis Urias is one person. So they put in Davis, to pinch run for Luis Urias. That's a trying to win now move, because if he scores, the game is over. You don't have to worry about the defensive substitution. The defensive substitution ends up hurting because Brasso comes in cold and makes an error that eventually allows the Reds to get 2 runs to win. So Devin Williams gets a loss despite not giving up an earned run, which is just another reason why losses should not be a tracked pitcher stat. They just shouldn't.
I agree.
So Brad Boxberger, top of the 9th inning, gets the bases loaded with 1 out, gets a strikeout and a flyout. Other than that, the Brewers only had 5 hits, only 9 base runners total, 0 for 6 of the runners in scoring position. Felt like a game where the Brewers just needed to be better. It was kind of a sloppy game, and just one where it felt like the Brewers didn't play up to their potential and had a chance to win still in the bottom of the 9th inning, and it just didn't come around for them. What do you got from the third game of that series?
Yeah, I agree with your statement about how they were a little sloppy and they could have been better. The defense, the runners in scoring position.
Getting on base even.
I don't know how I feel. God, that throw from Brasso just took – after watching them lose so many close games, and they were actually scoring runs in some of their losses too. So it wasn't like it was just the offense's fault all week,
Yep.
That throw where they got the error and it allowed them to score a couple of runs, it was kind of like, are you fucking kidding me right now? That's the feeling I had, Yeah. And I was just watching it and I'm just like, are you kidding me? Everything that could go wrong this week is going wrong. And it sucks. But that's baseball. And the best part about baseball is that it is so long. It's the best and worst part, right? So now they have, 50 some odd games to redeem themselves. Who says they don't just go into St. Louis this week and sweep them, right? Nobody knows what's going to happen. So this loss to the Reds sucked. Obviously, like you always say, we have hindsight. So we know that we got the next 2 wins, no matter what. And we're putting ourselves in a position to still compete. So I got nothing else. By the way, I did look up J.J. Hardy. His career high with the Brewers was 26. His career high overall was 30 when he went to Baltimore.
Baltimore, yeah. All right, so that record is there for Willie Adames to go get it. And Brasso played a fine third base today. It's just coming in cold in the 10th inning, not being ready to be a defensive substitution. If the Brewers can score a run in the bottom of the 9th inning, it doesn't matter. It doesn't happen. The Brewers win 3-2 instead of losing 4-2. So before we get to the Rays, I want to pose a question to people watching. It doesn't have to be a Brewers thing. It doesn't have to be a Wisconsin thing. This is something that could apply to anybody. So I want to ask the question, what type of fan do you want to be? Now, Jake and I have pondered this question to ourselves as we've kind of continued to form the identity of this show. And we've adopted the optimistic positivity mindset, and we hope to not going to say eradicate, because we're not trying to control people. We're not trying to force people to adopt the same mindset that we are. We're trying to encourage that. But I just want to ask the question: would you rather be an optimist or a pessimist, and then the team falling short of what the hopes and expectations were, or the team succeeding of what the hopes and expectation were? So there's 4 intersections here between optimist, pessimist, the team succeeding, and the team falling short. So would you rather be the optimist, that when the team falls short, you're the type of person, like I mentioned, Corbin Burns, who says we need to focus on tomorrow and we need to get the next one? So you could be the quote unquote, the get them next time person when your team doesn't succeed, whether it's a single game or whether it's the entire season. Or you could be the optimistic person that when the team succeeds, you get to say, I knew they could do it. That to me is the ultimate feeling when your optimism meets up with success. That's the best possible feeling you could have, is to say, I think the Brewers are going to win the World Series this year, and they do. And I think the Packers are going to win the World Series this year, or the Super Bowl this year, and they do. And I think the Bucks could win the NBA Finals this year, and they do. Like that's the best case scenario where you get the emotional fulfillment that you're looking for from your favorite teams. Now, on the pessimistic mindset, where your team falls short and you get to be the type of person who gets to say, I told you this team wasn't going anywhere. Like, what does that really do for you? Does that benefit you in any way? Like, cool, you were right, the team still lost? I don't know. It's a really weird consolation prize for people that, after a losing streak like the Brewers had, to get to the point where they're saying this team's not going anywhere, or Atanasio needs to sell the team, or fire David Stearns, who's actually been a great president of baseball operations. Or you can be the pessimist that when the team succeeds, you can say stuff like, the team, hey, A-Rod could hit home runs. It's just a different A-Rod. You could be the pessimist that when the team succeeds, you can be like, oh, they proved me wrong, I guess. I didn't want to set myself up for disappointment. Like, either one of those mindsets when it comes to pessimism, it just doesn't serve you as a person. Is ultimately what Jake and I are trying to convey. Go past sports fandom for just a second on it. That pessimism, whether the team succeeds or not, neither one of those things serve a possible emotionally fulfilling outcome for you, whether the team succeeds or not. If you have an optimistic mindset, sure, it might be hard, especially if the team doesn't succeed, or if the Brewers were to become a wild card team and lose a 1-game wild card. Obviously, that would suck. That would still be bummed. It'd be frustrating. But with us being a Wisconsin show, we're into October when that happens. We can turn our attention to the Packers and the Badgers. The Brewers will come around in spring again. We'll be excited in February when we do our Brewers primer, like we always do. And we'll get them next time. That's what David Stearns has done for the Brewers, is he's made the Brewers a consistent playoff threat. Not the 2008, 2011, and then have to wait until 2018 to make the playoffs again. So that's my thought there. But when you get to, if you can meet at the point where your optimism and the success meet, that serves you such a better emotional value than either one of the pessimistic outcomes or the optimistic team falling short outcome. So that's where Jake and I are really trying to push this optimism thing, is that we hope it can carry over into people's lives and not just with Wisconsin sports teams. All right, now that I've said 10,000 words in the last 3 minutes, we can talk about the Rays series, starting with yesterday.
All right, Peralta pitched his second game of the series, and he looked better in this outing. looked stronger. He went 5 innings, 2 hits, 2 earned runs, 0 walks. That's really important, and the 4 Ks. Trevor Gott, no earned runs. He does his thing. Hobie Milner, stud. I don't care what anybody says. Brad Boxberger. I call him Brad Big Balls Boxberger because that guy just puts himself in some really shitty situations, and he just gets out of it. It's like he does that on purpose. That's how I feel. Like, okay, I can pitch now. It's like when you're playing Madden and you put yourself down 5 touchdowns because you're like, I'm bored and I want a challenge. It's like I feel like Boxberger challenges himself. Bush looked good yesterday, like you said.
Dude, he looked fucking awesome yesterday.
Yeah. Maybe he's settling in. I don't know. Maybe it just took him a little bit to settle in. But, McCutcheon had a 2-out RBI. Wong, 2-out RBI. No home runs yesterday. So the Brewers scoring runs without home runs. I don't know why, but I always watch that because I feel like they only score with home runs.
I like it when they get the games where it's like
Taylor's
9.
a little bit better this week.
Where they get like 9 runs scored, and it's like 4 of them come off of home runs and 5 of them come off a small ball. Those are like my favorite games.
Yeah, I agree. Taylor had a really nice catch yesterday too. Just talking about that.
Dude, Tyrone Taylor, he was asked after the game if he felt like he had a little bit of Lorenzo Cain in that one. Matt said he feels like sometimes losing can exacerbate other issues in people's lives because they put too much stock into their team winning to make them feel better. And like we've all had that. Like it happens after Packer games because there's only 17 of them a year. There used to only be 16 a year. But after Packer games where it's like, the rest of Sunday, if the rest of Sunday, if the Packers lose, it's like the rest of Sunday just feels like a bummer. Or if they win, it's like, yeah, let's do stuff. You got energy and stuff like that. Baseball, it's harder because there's literally 10 times as many games. It just comes down to not riding that roller coaster too high, too low. And that's where, hopefully, if you watch our show and the Packers lose, which hopefully they never do, hopefully they go 17-0, sweep the playoffs, and win a Super Bowl. We don't ever have to talk about them losing. That said, if they lose and you come watch our show, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about the areas they can improve. We'll talk about what they did that didn't necessarily work well that can be done better, and we'll focus on the next game.
Mm-hmm.
We're not gonna sit here and say we should have traded Rodgers to the Broncos or we should cut Bakhtiari. Like that still doesn't make any sense to me, but people say it. So we'll have that more positive outlook regardless of winning or losing. We haven't had to deal with a rebuild yet for the 3 teams that we pay attention to as far as professional teams are concerned. College is always rebuilding, so it's kind of a weird situation. But as far as pro teams, we haven't had to deal with a real rebuild yet. So we haven't had to deal with a team that's under 500 and, not going to make the playoffs for a couple of years. But when we get to that point, our message is still going to be the same. We still have these positive takeaways like this, and this are still a positive takeaway. This is how they can improve this, and this that didn't go well. That's not going to change when our teams aren't making playoffs like all 3 of them are.
I do have something to say about the Packers, though, real quick.
Go ahead.
I'm at a point seeing so many Packers fans kind of want to get rid of Rodgers, want to get rid of this player, get rid of this player. And this is why I agree with other fans when they say that we are spoiled babies. And I don't want to self-sabotage myself because I love the Packers. I will literally skip your birthday party. I do not care if the Packers are on. I will skip Christmas. I'm sorry. The Packers are on the television. I mean, I barely paid attention at Christmas last year at my mom's because the Packers were playing the Browns. That was an ugly game. I kind of want the Packers to suck when Rodgers leaves because then maybe people would understand that this shit is a lot harder and they would appreciate Aaron Rodgers more. That's all I'm going to say. But I don't want them to suck, but I do just so those people can put their damn foot in their mouth once in a while,
I would be fine. Let's just say let's say the Packers, like the first year that Aaron Rodgers started, let's say the Packers win 6 games. And I already know that Jordan Love will be in the crosshairs. Jordan Love will be in the crosshairs no matter what happens that first season. Jordan Love is never Aaron Rodgers. We should have tried to keep Aaron Rodgers from retiring. It's always going to be the next thing when it comes to pessimistic fans. It's always going to be the next thing is the reason why the team didn't get it done. It's never respect to the 49ers for shutting down the Packers offense after the first 2 possessions of a game. Or credit to the Pirates for their young players stepping up and playing really well in that 3-game series. Jake and I want to do that where you can come watch this show as a rival fan and still respect our opinion when the show is over. Like, that's how we want to carry ourselves. We want to have rival fans that respect our opinions, even if we're saying things of here's how the Brewers can win, here's how the Packers can win, here's how the Bucks can win, even if they're underdogs in those games, even if they're in a rebuild. If we're in a Jordan Love is the starting quarterback situation, the Packers start like 1-4, and they're playing the Buccaneers in Tom Brady's age 50 season, and the Buccaneers are 5-0 to start that year, we're still going to talk about how the Packers can win. So that's how it's always going to be. Matt said he's been riding the roller coaster, high and low, not as extreme as some radical groups, though. Dude, there's some people that have shown their true colors in groups lately, and this hurts me to say it, but it's made me a little ashamed to be a Wisconsin sports fan on some of it, honestly. I'm glad to hear that it's helping it, that it's helping people. That's honestly like the best feeling that we could have ever expected from doing this show. We had started off doing it for fun, and now we're doing it because it's fun, and we're hoping to help people, which is cool. The Brewers fans dealing with the Josh Hader trade, everybody dealing with it in their own way, and David Bakhtiari starting training camp on the PUP list, it's really disappointing, honestly, seeing the way that people reacted to those 2 things. It showed that Jake and I have a lot of work to do, honestly. It did. It really bummed me out seeing the way that people were reacting to Bakhtiari to say cut him or he's injury prone or he's washed up. It's like, how can any of those things be possible from one injury that he had a setback on? Like, I don't understand how that makes him injury prone. It's not like he's had an ankle sprain and then an ACL injury and then elbow surgery and then a shoulder issue and then reoccurring concussions and bruised ribs and an oblique strain. It's like, that's an injury prone player. Having one injury that cost you a playoff game, a season, and then a playoff game doesn't make you injury prone when all of that stemmed from one injury. It doesn't make him washed up either just because he's missed some time. But I can't wrap my head around that. And then the fact that fans can't just rally around him and say, we're hoping for him to get better. It's more like, oh, he should, he's fine to be chugging beer, but he can't play football. It's like, why are people like this? But like I said, it really just highlights that Jake and I have work to do.
It's because they only see the dollar sign, Tyler. They don't see the man. They see the dollar sign. And that's the shitty truth.
That's one of the things, too, is like Jake and I hope to convey to people, like people know this, but they need to be reminded of it, it feels like, that athletes are people. Okay. So I'm going to go to the first game of the Rays series. Like Jake said, Freddy Peralta got his second start since coming back from the injured list. At a 1-2-3 first inning, Tyrone Taylor was an early star of this game. He had the home run robbery and an RBI single. Andrew McCutcheon had a 2 RBI hit. Colton Wong had a 2 RBI double. Using the opposite field, which is one of the things that I suggested for improving the offense. I'm glad that that's been happening, and I can actually pat myself on the back for for suggesting something, and it actually worked out. Matt, yes, Bakhtiari does deserve a lot more respect than what he gets. He's been so good for so long, and then for fans to abandon him after an injury, it's disheartening. It sucks. I hate seeing it. So Freddy Peralta did pitch 5 innings, 2 hits, 4 strikeouts, 0 walks. Like Jake said, that's a big thing to see, 0 walks. That's something a lot of Brewers have struggled with this year. Ashby and Devin Williams being probably the main 2. Gave up 2 earned runs. That's a quality start. Is 5 innings and 2 earned runs or less. The Brewers had at least 1 base runner in each of the first 6 innings, which is encouraging to see. Trevor Gott pitched a scoreless inning. The Brewers were 4 for 10 with runners in scoring position through the first 7 innings. That's about all. That's better than you could ask for, honestly. That's a 400 batting average with runners in scoring position. I'll take that. Luis Urias in the 8th inning drew an 8-pitch at bat. I think he struck out, but still battling in at bats. That was another thing I called for with 2 strikes, is trying to foul off pitches and not just try to watch the ones that are on the edges, because that seemed to get the Brewers called out on strikes a lot. Brad Boxberger, 7th inning, or 7-pitch top of the 8th inning, had a 1-2-3 8th inning. And then Matt Bush. So, dude, he came in 9th inning, throws like a 98-mile-an-hour fastball for a swing and a miss, a 93-mile-an-hour fastball, like right on the hands for another swing and miss, and then threw like a 81-mile-an-hour breaking ball and pulled the string. It was a beautiful 3-pitch strikeout to start off the 9th inning. So nasty. And then the last pitch that he threw to get the last strikeout to end the game, just another nasty pitch that just and dove straight down. When the Brewers traded for Matt Bush, David Stern says that he has electric stuff. And I feel like we finally got to see that for the first time last night, is the electric stuff that David Stearns was talking about when the Brewers traded for him. It was interesting to see Matt Bush get the call for the 9th inning, because that's only his 3rd save since 2017.
Yeah. I saw that.
So David Stearns said that they didn't want to use Taylor Rogers because he's been dealing with some knee pain, so he got a cortisone shot. He could have been available today if they needed him, but Brewers have an off day tomorrow, and then they start a series with the Cardinals on Friday, so they're probably, Friday if they need him, he should be good to go for that. They didn't want to use Devin Williams just because they've been using him so much lately. So that was why Devin Williams didn't pitch last night. That's why Matt Bush ultimately got the 9th inning last night. So up until last night, the Brewers had won 3 for 3 games against the Reds, all 5-3. That changed today, so I don't know how much of today's game you got to watch, but what did you see from today's game?
I didn't get to watch the entire game. I was trying to work on this laptop, which is still being a piece of shit. What I did see was Brandon Woodruff be Brandon Woodruff. He gave us 7 innings. Can't ask for more than that. 4 hits, 3 earned runs, 5 Ks. He did give up 2 home runs. Ultimately,
one of them was to a Rose Arena. I mean, I don't know. I don't feel bad if he hits a home run against you.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Boxberger, 3rd of an inning, no earned runs. Hobie Milner, fan favorite.
Dude,
he's turned into
we could call him Hobie Milner, like Hobie Big Balls Milner, because that dude he's such a baller. Oh god.
Trevor Gott, 1 inning pitched, looked good, and obviously Devin Williams got used today. Got 1 strikeout. The team in total had 8 strikeouts. Tellez hit another home run today. Adames,
Kira, nice.
and Brousseau also added RBIs. So it's nice to see multiple efforts. Multiple people just adding to the run support. I know they only scored 4, so don't overreact to what I'm saying. But it is nice to see multiple people getting RBIs. That's what a good team does. McCutcheon with another double, has his 21st double of the year. So pretty good numbers from McCutcheon, actually. I didn't know what to expect when we brought him over, but he's looked pretty solid to me. Pretty much everybody got a hit today except Carantini, Taylor, and Urias. Oh, Yelich went 0 for 4 as well. But everybody else pretty much got a hit. Good game. I mean, we own the American League. So if they can somehow make it out of the National League, make it into the World Series, I'll feel pretty damn good.
They're 13-4 against the American League now. That's nuts.
I'm gonna wait until they play the Yankees. If we go out of 3 from the Yankees, I feel so damn good.
Yeah, Matt agreed with you. Having multiple people contribute is a good sign, regardless of the score.
Yeah,
that's definitely true, and you can flip that around on the defensive side of the ball too. Yes, the Rays. I call the Rays the Brewers of the AL. That's what I refer to them to because it feels like these teams are really similar.
Yep.
But looking at the defensive side of the ball, so Brasso, despite the error that he committed against the Reds, played some solid defense today. Luis Urias was playing second base today. He had some nice throws. Willie Adames made some really nice throws. All that being said, Keston Hiura played some very good first base today. He made multiple inning-saving picks at first base and keeping his foot on the bag. So I want to give Keston Hiura some credit for that because that's a new position for him to learn. And for being up and down, for him to come in and actually give some contributions on offense, and then today to give some contributions on defense, that's power pair material right there from Keston Hiura. For him to hit 2, that's Gold Glover Keston Hiura to you. That would be a tough hype train to get people on, the Keston Hiura Gold Glove hype train. That one, there might be some empty cars on that one, but he can have the Gold Glove for today.
There's only one.
But I wanted. That's all we would need. We'd only need 6 seats. But I wanted to make sure that I hammered that home to give credit to Keston Hiura for playing good defense today. And the other thing I wanted to give credit to, cheap seats. You could probably ride that one for free.
You join us, Matt.
Hobie Milner was the other thing I wanted to give credit to because he came in the 8th inning with the bases loaded and 1 out, and he got 2 strikeouts, both looking just nasty. Threw a 90-mile-an-hour slider to get the first guy, and then he threw a 79-mile-an-hour curveball to catch the corner on the second guy. I'm hoping Hobie Milner comes in. I'm hoping he gets a ground ball, double play. He comes in and he gets a strikeout. I'm sweet. I'm all right, now a ground ball, and we get a force out. And then he gets another strikeout. It's damn, Hobie Milner's a baller.
Corbin Burns is rubbing off on him.
Dude, that was so nuts. He came in and got 2 strikeouts with the bases loaded. Oh, that was awesome. But like I said, the Brewers, up until this point, had won every game against the Rays 5-3, and like I said before, I'm when the Brewers gave up that 3rd run, I'm all right, the Brewers got them right where they want them, and ended up winning 4-3. If let's just say Christian Yelich hadn't been intentionally walked, which, like Matt said, they still haven't learned from, Yelich could have hit a 2-run home run, and that would have been a 5-3 victory. Jake, are you looking up Matt's question?
Yes.
Okay.
Trying to.
All right, I will let you do that then. Matt asked, how long do we have Hobie Milner for? I think last year might have been his first year of service time, if I'm not mistaken. So we might have it until 2024. That's what I'm going to guess.
Show me his damn contract, people.
If I find it before you, you're fired.
I'm trying to find it. I type in Hobie Milner, and the first thing on the drop down is Hobie Milner wife. Why are we looking at people's wives, man?
He's in his first year of arbitration. Hobie Milner. 2024. Nailed it. You're fired. Yep.
This is all I got. Doesn't even show his extended contract.
Spot track. That's where you need to go, bud. Spot track. Arbitration for 2023 and 2024. So he's under team control until 2024. And Jake is fired. So, Matt, if you want to start going live more often, all we need is a bunch of funding so that I can quit my job and do this full time, and we can do shows every day. That would be the goal. That would really be the goal, is to be able to do this every day, and not just twice a week, which is what we're going to be doing starting with this Packers season. But to answer your question, we have Holby Milner until 2024. So is there anything else from today's game besides Holby Milner having a big old set of nuts, Rowdy Tellez being clutch in the bottom of the ninth, and Keston Hero playing good defense at first base?
No. Gotta love Rowdy Tellez, though. I think he's going to end up being a Brewer for a long time. Just my prediction.
All right. So let's go to the power pair. There were kind of a lot of options here. It's up to you if you want to start with position players or pitchers, but I'll let you go first.
Let's do my pitcher because it wasn't very creative. I went with Corbin Burns. I felt like he's just always the safe pick, I guess, but he's always good. So it's never a wrong answer to say.
Right. Yeah, I was just going to say you can't go
just
wrong.
Just like when we do Packers and we pick our 3 stars of the game. It's never a wrong answer. 6 innings pitched, 2 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, and 9 Ks. I mean, that's a hell of an outing.
Tim had a good point, too. Rowdy made a heads-up play in the 10th inning. Devin Williams got that ground ball right to Rowdy. He did not hesitate. He threw that ball straight to third base, and they got the tag out. And then Caratini, too, in the bottom of that inning, or the top of that inning, to get the guy that grounded out to be caught stealing at second base. So that was really, really good defense in the top of the 10th inning by the Brewers. That's a way you can mitigate having some struggling relief pitching, is to just play some insanely good defense and not let the runners go anywhere. So I went with Eric Lauer for my pitcher. He's getting back on track from he had a couple short starts in like late June, early July, but 7 innings, 6 hits, 3 walks. I'd like to see those walks get down a little bit. The 4 strikeouts, only 1 earned run. I picked Eric Lauer just because he's been so reliable this season amid all of the injuries the Brewers have had. So Woodruff spent time on the injured list. Hauser is still on the injured list. He's been rehabbing. Freddy Peralta was on the injured list for almost 2 full months and a half, a little less than 2.5. And Aaron Ashby started the season in the bullpen and then worked into the starting rotation. So aside from Corbin Burns, who is Cy Young winner and probably a Cy Young top 2 candidate right now, Eric Lauer has been the next most reliable starter for the Brewers this season. And he's done some really good stuff. He's had some really, really good games this season. So it's giving Eric Lauer credit for being so reliable this season. I did almost go with Brad Boxberger just because he's worked out of some crazy jams. And you could say the same for Holby Milner. Those two both get gold stars as well. Give me your position player.
I'll do my position player.
Yeah.
I got Colton Wong again. I know he didn't have the greatest batting average this week. He only hit 250. He was 5 of 20. He had 4 RBIs, 1 run, and 2 walks. But he's still producing. He's doing exactly what we need him to do. And he's getting back to playing that level of defense that the Brewers expected him to play. He was a little disappointing early in the year. I said kind of the same thing last week, but really been impressed how he was able to just flip it, go 180 degrees, and really just look like the player that the Brewers signed last year. And if he keeps it up, we're gonna retake the lead on his old team, and I'm sure he'd love that.
It'd be great to retake that lead head-to-head from them. Like Matt said earlier, said go Rockies earlier. If the Brewers won today, which they did, and the Cardinals lose, they'd be back even. So the Brewers picked up a game yesterday with the Cardinals just getting dominated by the Rockies yesterday. So the Brewers could pick up another game today by winning if the Cardinals lose to the Rockies. I also went with Colton Wong. We tweeted out the other day that the Brewers, it felt like Colton Wong was getting his mojo back. He's playing some really good defense. There was one where Luis Urias was sliding towards first base. The ball got under his glove, but Colton Wong was right behind him and made a Derek Jeter jump throw. That's the kind of defense we've seen from Colton Wong, and he should have won a damn Gold Glove last year. I will not let that go. Colton Wong should have had a Gold Glove last year. That being said, with Colton Wong, since the All-Star break, he is near – actually, I think he's tied for the Major League lead in OPS since the break, but I pulled his triple slash. Since the All-Star break, Colton Wong is batting .389. His on-base percentage is .452, and he's slugging .630.
That a baby.
That's nuts. That is nuts. That is major stabilization from Colton Wong, who had a bit of a rough first half of the season. With Colton Wong playing really well, Keston Hiura starting to play well, Mike Brasso has been very underrated for the Brewers this season. Rowdy Tellez obviously hit a home run today. Tyrone Taylor playing some good defense and driving in some runs. You see where I've been coming from like the last 3 weeks where I'm saying the Brewers can produce good offense. It just comes down to the execution of it.
Yes.
That's why, like I said, when the Brewers didn't trade for a bat, there's still opportunity for the offense to succeed. One of those things that I mentioned was using the opposite field. The Brewers have been doing really well with that. Christian Yelich usually tries to take advantage of it when he can. Willie Adames has some right center field power, but Colton Wong, it seems like, has been the guy that's been using the opposite field the most since the All-Star break. So Colton Wong was a good pick for the position power player. Looking at what's next for the Brewers. So the Brewers are off tomorrow. Then the season. The season hangs on the following 4 series or so. So that's what it's going to come down to. Starting Friday, it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday in St. Louis. It's going to be Eric Lauer on Friday, Corbin Burns on Sunday. I'm sorry for skipping. And then Aaron Ashby on Saturday. So Lauer, Ashby, and Burns on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then after that, the Brewers come home and they start a 4-game series Monday through Thursday against the Dodgers. So if the Brewers can make up some ground in that St. Louis series and find a way to get some games done against the Dodgers, we're looking at a much different Brewer team a week from now than we did in the last week. I don't know how you're feeling about the upcoming 100%. Schedule.
Well, clearly massive games against the Cardinals. We are 6-6, the Brewers and Cardinals. We literally can't be any closer than we are right now. So 6-6 on the season series. We're only down a game. I believe it's probably down to a half game now after our win. But this is as close as it gets at this point in the season. And my outlook on this with the optimism and pessimism is just feel blessed to be in this position, to be competing against the best team in this division over the last 20 years. The most consistent team in this division has been the Cardinals. They are the Green Bay Packers of that division.
That's fair.
And, they always win. They always have players. They always produce. They're always well coached. That is how rival fans think of the Packers. So I feel blessed to be in this position.
Yeah, that's fair.
I feel like we have an opportunity to really take this season by the nuts and really be like, all right, it's time to be a man. It's time to step up. This is what you play for, right? When you're a little kid and you're like, oh, the Brewers and Cardinals tied at the season series. This is the moments that you live for. So I look forward to it. This is an opportunity. We've talked about iron sharpens iron. This is that iron sharpen iron moment right here, right now. You got the Cardinals and the Dodgers. It's time to put up or shut up.
Yeah, and it gets a little easier, but you don't want to look past teams because there's other games coming up on your schedule.
Right.
So, actually, we had Tyler comment earlier. He said, go Cubs, go. After the Brewers' 4-game series against the Dodgers, they play 3 at Chicago against the Cubs. Then they play 3 at the Dodgers. So the Brewers have 7 games coming up against the Dodgers in the next 2 weeks. And then they come home for 3 against the Cubs and 3 against Pittsburgh. Now, after that, you get into the beginning of September, and they play Arizona, Colorado, San Francisco, Cincinnati, 2 against the Cardinals, and then they get both New York teams in Milwaukee, and then a 4-game series against the Reds, 2 more against the Cardinals, and 2 against the Marlins. So the Brewers actually have, outside of the next 2 weeks, a pretty favorable schedule for the rest of the season. If the Brewers can come out of, let's look strictly at the Cardinals, Dodgers, Cubs, Dodgers. So that's 6, 10, that's 13 games. If the Brewers can find a way to win, say, 8 of those games, I feel great about where they are looking for the rest of the season.
Has to be 2 against the Cardinals, though. 2 of those 8 has to be against St. Louis.
I mean, if we're looking at 13 games, 3 of them against the Cardinals, 7 against the Dodgers. How about not? Whatever. I'm not even going to go there. I would just love to beat the Dodgers all 7 times, just because I have no respect for the franchise. But like I said, after we come out of this series with the Cardinals, Dodgers, Cubs, Dodgers, after those games, the Brewers actually have a pretty favorable schedule with a lot of, the 2 bottom teams in the NL West, actually the 3 bottom teams in the NL West, 2 against the Marlins, a bunch against the Reds, and a handful against the Pirates. I mean, if the Brewers just take care of business and just win those series, like they don't even have to get sweeps, if they just win those series, I feel like the Brewers are in really good shape. So these next 2 weeks, we're going to echo what we've always been saying is don't ride too high and don't ride too low. If the Brewers sweep the Cardinals, we're not automatically going to the World Series. The Brewers could rip off 13 in a row. If the Brewers win 13 in a row, I don't give a shit. If the Brewers sweep the Cardinals, sweep the Dodgers, go to Chicago and sweep the Cubs, go to LA and sweep the Dodgers again for 13 straight wins, the Brewers are still not automatically winning the World Series. Now, that said, let's say hypothetically the Brewers lose 13 games in a row. That is also not necessarily the end of the season, because they could just win the following 13 after that and be right back in the same position with the Cardinals. So that's, like I said, you don't need to go too high or too low. Matt said 52-0, so I guess we're riding with that. 52-0, or we fire David Stearns. Yeah, these next 13 games are really going to be the litmus test for the rest of the season and what the Brewers could potentially do should they make the postseason. I'm not looking at the wild card at all. I'm really just looking at the Brewers to win the division and to not have to, screw around with wild card, because it happened in 2019 and they ended up losing to the World Series champions. Matt, if the Cardinals win tonight and win the series against the Brewers this weekend, we might as well just clean house after the end of the weekend, because that's what happens when the Brewers lose a series is it's time to fire everybody.
If you go in the Facebook group, that's what everybody will want you to do.
God, it's bad, dude. It's so bad being in the Facebook groups. Like, it's tough because I need to be in them because we need to interact with fans and, see what fans are talking about. And we want to share our show to spread it, to grow it. But it's, oh my God, it's so rough being in some of these groups sometimes. It's worse than being in some of the football trash talk groups. Oh man, it's a product of the Skip Bayless television generation on Facebook. So you take the keyboard warriorness of social media and then you throw Skip Bayless in that and you blend it up, and that's what you get on sports groups on social media. It's rough in some of those groups. But
that's what I expect pizza with pineapple tastes like.
Ugh, that's gross too.
Yeah.
All right. Well, during that 4-game series against the Dodgers, likely going to be Freddy Peralta and Brandon Woodruff. I'm not sure if Adrian Hauser is going to be back for that series yet. It sounds like they're going to take him a little bit slower than they did with Freddy Peralta's rehab. He only made 2 rehab starts and then he was up. Still looking at Nick Cousins and Justin Topa. Those two have both been making rehab starts in Nashville. I'm so impatient for Nick Cousins. Like, I don't want to rush him back because I don't want him to get hurt. But, like, I'm ready for Nick Cousins to be back in a Brewers uniform. I'm so excited. I'm just ready to have him back in a Brewers uniform.
He would definitely be a boost, I'll tell you that much.
And I'm pretty sure it's Jake Cousins. I think I said Nick again. I got to stop doing that.
You did. I was going to let it go.
Man. But I just want him back on the Brewers. Yep, Matt said, Matt reminded me that it's Jake Cousins. That's what I get for being a Predators fan, as I get too many Cousins. Thank God I'm not a Vikings fan. That would be awful.
Well, yeah, you would have to experience losing all the time.
Oh, my God, dude. It was bad enough that I had to experience a Vikings fan today. Tell me that the Vikings have a top-to-bottom better roster than the Packers. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That's what too much television does to you, kids. Oh, man. Top to bottom, he said.
Week 1 can't get here fast enough.
Oh, man. You might as well just wear a gigantic sign around your neck with, that's the size of a Flavor Flav clock that says, "Don't respect my opinion ever again." That's how I feel when people say dumb shit like that. You're literally just saying whatever you're saying, but underneath it, the subtext says, "Don't ever respect me." Oh my God, it's so bad that people say dumb shit like that and actually believe it. I don't even know if they believe it, but it's social media, so you can only tell as far as what people say. You can't tell tone.
And the best
you
part
can come
is
watch
they're
us
like,
and
it's a
you can hear our
trash talk
tone.
group. It's a trash talk group. Ah, shut up.
So you never want to have any actual discussion. And the thing is, once you start doing that trolling or trash talk or whatever you want to call it, once you start doing that, there's no stopping it. You will forever be known as a troll trash talker.
Yeah.
So that's the same where I get into, like I said, with the pessimistic thing. It can change, and we hope to be able to help people change this. But if you, in a short period of time, go from the "this team isn't going anywhere" person to the "I told you they could do it" person after a losing streak to after a winning streak, like, people see that and they know you're full of shit. So that's why we say, like, don't ride too high, don't ride too low. Ride in that middle, be consistent, be excited when they're doing well, but until they're holding the trophy, they're not World Series champions. Same as until they're mathematically eliminated from the playoffs, they're not done. They're not done until they're actually eliminated. And they haven't won it until they're holding the trophy.
True that, buddy.
All right, man. Do you have anything else as far as the Brewers are concerned?
No, I do not.
Okay, so I'm going to throw this out there because we have a bonus episode coming up, not this Friday, but the following Friday. Jake and I are going to be covering basics of the game. So we're going to be it's going to be mostly football and basketball. Like, Jake and I have tried to come up with some baseball basics, but Jake made a really good point that so much of baseball is situational, that there's not, certain things that are set for that. We did also explain some of the metric stats that are used in baseball, but if anybody watching right now has any phrases that they hear during football, basketball, baseball games that they don't understand what they are, or whether you're here, like, we're going to talk about zone defense in the NFL. We're going to talk about some of the personnel grouping names, offensively and defensively. We're going to talk about the pick and roll in basketball. If there's any basics of football, basketball, baseball that you don't understand that you would like to have explained, let us know, and we're going to cover those on August 19th. Following that is going to be August 26th. That is the day after the last Packers preseason game. We're going to be doing that. It'll be a Friday night. We're going to have Simon and Bryant with us for that. We're going to be doing stat predictions, NFC North record predictions, the Wisco Disco. So we're going to talk about the last guys to make the 53-man roster. The Wisco Ball guy gave us the idea for that, to call it the Wisco Disco. But doing a preseason recap. I'm looking at the sheet for everything we're doing that day. Roster bubble, record prediction. Yeah. And then after that, we have the Wisco Fanatics Fantasy Football Draft coming up the following week. And Badger Football will be starting, which I should mention that as well. That will be August 24th. Will be the last Wednesday in August. Nope, 31st. 31st will be the last Wednesday in August.
31st.
That will be our Wisconsin Badgers football primer. So that's coming up too. And then
you'll be joining us for that.
Yes, he will. Our Badger buddy will be joining us with that one. And then starting September 9th, every single Friday, we'll have a Green Bay Packers show until the season's over. So we're looking forward to doing that, to giving the Packers their own designated show. The Braylon Allen demolition season is certainly coming. Him and Ches Malusi are both on the I think it's the Doak Walker watch list. I think that's the running back award. Both of them are on the watch list for that. So, Matt, we don't have every single day shows, but we are going to have.
Lucy looks freaking stacked.
Yeah, he does. So does Braylon Allen, but like I said, Matt, we don't have.
Came out of the womb looking like that.
Yeah. We don't have everyday shows, but basically from now until February, we're going to have twice a week shows. So we got that going for us. Hopefully it's a good season for the Packers, and we're talking about the Packers until early February, and they're still playing. But that's all we got. So do you have anything else you want to throw out there?
No, I got nothing else. I'm starting to do my Badgers research right now. Starting to watch a lot of the interviews because Mikey keeps sending us stuff. So
yeah,
I'm getting a little hyped up, man. I always love the Badger defense, and obviously we just run the ball right down people's throats. So don't ever
Nick
throw
Herbig
the ball
season coming.
No,
they got to throw the ball this year.
I'm looking for a Mertz bounce back season, to be honest with you, man.
They got to throw the ball this year.
I think Mertz going to be nice this year. Marcus Allen.
And Kimmeray DK.
That guy is physical as hell. He could be a difference maker. He's a Big Ten wide receiver. I don't know if he's an NFL wide receiver, but he's definitely a Big Ten wide receiver. He can handle the physicality in this conference.
You're a Marcus Allen guy. I'm a Kimmeray DK guy. They both will probably be very involved in the offense. Probably going to be like only two names you hear regularly as far as wide receivers are concerned. I'm interested to see who comes up at tight end. Clay Cundiff got hurt last season. We never really knew what his knee injury was. He was taken off in an ambulance, which was scary, but no idea if he's going to be ready or not, or if he's even coming back. I haven't really read much about him yet, but the Badgers always seem to have good tight ends, just like they always seem to have good offensive linemen. So it'll be interesting to see who comes up at tight end. But, that'll be coming up. Got a lot going on. A lot of shows going on. So Danny Davis is probably going to make the practice squad for the Packers.
He will. I think Davis will.
All right, man. You got anything else?
No, man. I'll talk to you later.
Yeah. I will see you on Friday night as well.
Yes, you will. I'll see you.